kids, let me tell you something. There are a lot of kids out there who don't have parents. And then you should really respect your parents, because if you don't want to end up being on the streets, and stick with your parents when you're small.
Hey GlamFam, welcome back to Tamara and Zone's World Channel. If you are new, welcome. If you're already a subscriber, welcome back, bestie. Okay guys, it's that time of the month when we're getting into
Already?
Wow. We're getting into our motivation 101. We're accustomed to being told to stay in our lane, meaning to mind your own business. But today we're going to talk about knowing when to change lanes. So as I was taking her to school this morning, I was recording and I was looking at the flow of traffic. And in observing the flow of traffic, really, if we stay in our own lanes, things run smoothly and there are less confusion. Let's look at the traffic, for example. Outside of what goes wrong with like a vehicle, because it's man-made, if you actually stay in your lane, you can be on your cell phone and be distracted. So you get out of your lane and go into somebody else's lane. And then when you go into somebody else's lane, that's when there's an accident. And then one car hits another, and it's just like a domino effect of people getting hurt, people bumping into each other. But today we are saying otherwise. It's okay to switch lanes. It's okay to change lanes. You just have to know when. And so I'm talking about changing lanes. I'm not necessarily talking about the cars that we drive on the road. I'm talking about life in general.
Life. Not cars, life.
Okay. So when you actually know when to change lanes, you'll avoid chaos. So a lot of times you're given a task to do. You want to make sure that you're covering bases with yourself first. Complete your business first, and then you can offer a helping hand to someone else, because we need each other. Despite some people tell themselves, oh, I'm independent. As independent as we are, we need to switch lanes sometimes. So switching lanes also means we need to know when to ask for help. If you're struggling, you're in your lane and you're struggling, what do?
You change lanes.
Yeah, so how
you
do you
ask for lane? You have asked for help.
Ask for help. We are so bent on wanting to do things ourselves, and if we're not careful, we can burn out. And so it's okay to know when to ask for help. If you're in a new situation, something that's kind of new to you, you don't have to know everything. It's okay to ask someone, hey, so I don't know how to do this just yet. I need your help. Can you assist me? Or this person can't assist you right away. They can at least point you in the direction of where to go for you to get some help. So it is okay to ask for help. And I mean, it's okay to try things on your own. It's okay to accomplish things alone. Right? But at the same time, when you're on that journey, it's also okay to switch lanes and ask for help. It's also okay to get out the lane and help someone else. You know, we kind of live in a world where if you get out your lane and try to help someone else, you yourself can get into trouble. So it would be best if you kind of know your surrounding, know your environment, know the people with whom you live in terms of the society, because it's quite different. I find it quite different here in the United States, where you try to help someone and then it comes to bite you. So you have to kind of walk such a thin line when offering to help someone. It's just so weird. But I think it's like a culture thing, because where I come from, offering help, I don't need to consult. Let's say as a teacher, if I see a student who is in need and I want to assist that student, in Jamaica, I don't need to ask my principal, oh, I see a student who's in need. Is it okay if I buy that student a pair of shoes? Or is it okay if I buy that student uniform? Whereas I find that here, it's just a whole thing. Like, you can't just do something out of love in your heart for a student without, oh, that's not the proper way. So what's the proper way? So in terms of getting out of your lane, in this case to help someone, you want to find out what is the norm, what is the protocol in this particular area in which I'm residing, and then you can proceed accordingly just to kind of save yourself. Because everything you do, somebody wants to sue you. Sue the clothes off your back for wanting to do something right. Is you know how to change lanes when you pray for the spirit of discernment. It's kind of hard.
What does discernment mean? Tell people, what does discernment mean?
Discernment just means that you having the ability to assess a situation or assess a person before actually making a move. So it's like it's kind of what some people would call like an intuition. Only this discerning spirit actually comes from God. It comes from above. And so when you have this discerning spirit, you can tell, do I need to switch lanes right now? Do I need to even jump in and help with this particular situation right now? Or do I need to just stay back and let it play out? So when you have that spirit of discernment, you can really save yourself a lot of heartache, a lot of trouble, a lot of stress. And that's not just something that you acquire all on your own. It's something that you have to pray for. And when you have that, you can feel in your gut, like, no, I don't think I need to switch lanes here. I don't think I need to jump out of my box to actually help someone right now. Or I think this is a situation that I'll need to jump in and offer my assistance.
Prayer helps with a lot of things these days.
Prayer helps with a lot of things. Life is set up in such a way that if we're not careful, you're always working. You become overworked, you become stressed out, and if you're not balancing, so switching lanes here means that you may need to step back and find a balance, because if there's no balance, there is going to be a problem, or there will be problems actually. So when you're overworked, there's not much that you can do to the people that are around you. You've got to know when to slow down. Research shows that when you go on vacations, you actually come back with a new thinking, a renewed thinking. You feel refreshed and you're rejuvenated and ready to go back on the horse, ready to go again with a clear mind. But when you just keep working, that's not good for you mentally, and that's definitely not good for you.
It could really damage your brain because you're really overthinking too much.
Damage your what?
Your brain.
Your brain?
I said brain.
Damage your brain?
I said damage your brain.
Well, you need to give your brain... The brain is very powerful, and we can stretch it and we can make it sweat, but
we can't make it overthink too much, because that could physically and mentally hurt our body, because the brain is a resource, so is our heart. So without our brain or our heart, we wouldn't function well, and we wouldn't be here today. But we have to take a break from things, like a 30 or 20 minute break, and then jump back onto it.
Okay, so I'm not necessarily talking about, good point. I'm not necessarily talking about a 30 or 20 minute break. I'm talking about, but she's talking about having a task doing right now. I am talking about life. I'm talking about life. Just knowing when to, all right, I need to spend some time with the people I love, because time is so fleeting.
Yes, time goes.
And if you're not careful, you don't get to spend as much of it with the people you love. And so you have to be intentional about what you do with your time and how you plan to spend it. Because guess what? You are not, none of us, we're not indispensable. And so if we're not careful with this time, it's like you get aged so quickly, and then you realize, oh, I didn't spend enough time with the people I love. Like for me at this point in my life, like, give me time with the people I love. And that works for me, because when they're gone,
you can't spend any more time with them.
You can't spend any more time with them. And I'm kind of getting emotional here. I don't want to get emotional, but yeah, if you still have the people around you that you love, switch lanes and spend time.
Just spend time with them. Just take a vacation day off for work.
Just be around each other. And when you're around each other, just park your phones and
just put them out of sight and reach.
Park the devices someplace where you can actually, get to know the people that are around you. Because a lot of us, we're spending so much time getting to know people who are on the internet, getting to know people who are miles and miles away, and we're disconnected from the people who are right in front of us. So don't be that person.
Never.
Who disconnects from the ones who are right in front of you, and then you're trying to connect with people who are so far away. The teens who, it's like, okay, you're moving from one place in your life to the next, and you feel like, oh, my mom or my parents don't understand me, my parents just don't get me, or they don't like me, or they don't make me do what I want. They are your parents for a reason. And as we get older, we've either seen the cards played, or we might have played the cards ourselves, and they don't generally turn out very well. So I don't need to make a mistake to know, oh, I don't want to do that thing, or that thing is not going to turn out right for me. I can learn from someone else's mistake. So you can switch lanes, young people, teens, who feel like you know it all, who feel like your parents just don't get you, and who feel like you've arrived. You've not. Years teach wisdom. And so we've seen a lot of things, and so you want to listen to the voice of your parents. No one loves you more than your parents. It's going to be in your best interest to listen to the voice of your parents.
Parents know best.
For the most part. Because some parents...
Because your mother had you. She saw you. She saw everything.
Yeah, I mean, some parents are more concerned today about being their children's friend more than actually being a parent. I want to be your friend, but I am going to be a parent first. And so if you're doing things that I feel like, okay, this is not right, best believe the discipline is going to come with it. The discipline, discipline does not, love does not necessarily mean that I'm going to be kissing you all the time. I do have to correct you. And when I correct you, you won't always like the correction that you get. But at the end of the day, all the correction that you'll get will be coming from love. So as parents, you have to switch lanes sometimes. The kids are getting out of line. Switch lane, draw the brakes, and get it together. Because if you don't get it together early, it will come back to haunt you later. And then it will be too hard.
And children, listen to your parents.
Why?
Because there's a lot of kids out there that disrespect their parents.
Is that a good thing?
No. Okay. But also, kids, let me tell you something. There are a lot of kids out there who don't have parents.
Oh,
and then you should really respect your parents, because if you don't want to end up being on the streets, and stick with your parents when you're shopping, because if you don't stick with them, they might leave you at the store and you might be homeless for the rest of your life.
Says the one who is always roaming the store.
No.
And they have to call you. So now you understand why you need to stick with your parents. That is true. Zon, I have to literally be putting her in a cart for her to stay by me, because this one, but I'm guessing she's learning now. Stick with your parents. So yeah, there are a lot of kids who are, and this is for the kids who tend to know more than their parents. Don't ever, if you want your days to be lengthened, if you don't want your days to be short, avoid disrespecting your parents. Listen to the voice of your parents. Parents will always talk, and sometimes it will annoy you, but I promise you it's okay. It's for your own good. And guess what? You are growing up too, and you're going to someday have your own children. And you're going to look back.
Be just like your parents. So you should
like
think,
your parents.
Teens, you should think when you older and you have your own kids, say, oh right, kids, this is what happened when I was in my younger age. Like, I disrespected my parents, but I'm gonna teach you guys not to do what I did when I was younger.
Yeah, because the
Just
end
talk
result,
to them about that.
the end result of that it's not gonna be a positive one. So it's a rough road out there, and so if you kind of switch lanes here and try to appreciate what your parents are doing for you. I know many of us, we think our parents are not doing enough, but believe me, parents do not necessarily burden you with all the things that they have to do. No one told me that there would be so many things you have to kind of think about as a parent. Remember, there's no handbook. So it's either you do or you don't. And then as you go along, you're learning. As you start to switch lanes, you're learning how to parent. And so when we make choices, the kids, you may not always agree with the choices, but you're not the adult. So you want to switch lanes here, change gears, and listen to the voice of your parents. Because at the end of the day, nobody loves you more than they do. And
absolutely no one, not even your grandmother.
Not even your grandmother. Know when to take a step back. Know when to switch lanes. Because if you look at the traffic, if you are merging onto a major highway and you're just merging on like he's a madman, just a merge on like in a sense, it's either you're gonna die.
A madman.
Madman's one. It's either you're gonna die or you're gonna cause other people to get hurt. And so you don't want that. And if you're going to switch lanes for yourself as a regular driver, just going down the street and then you have people holding up the traffic, safely check to see what's going on ahead before you switch lanes. So, you're supposed to switch lanes too when it comes on to your finances, money. So I like to, if it's not a need, I let it go. If my phone is working, I don't need
a new phone.
If my car is working, I don't necessarily need a new car, because guess what? A new car is going to mean a car note. If it's not broken, don't try to fix it.
No.
Manage the money. Don't let the money manage you. Separate your needs from your wants. If it's not a need, leave it alone. Leave it alone. If you can afford to, yeah. But don't try to go out of your way and then your needs aren't being met, or the people, whom you're caring for or are suffering. They need things, So self-evaluate, manage money management. If you find that you're always spending or you're quick to spend, you probably need to take a step back and look, okay, separate. Is this a need or is this a want? Can I do without this? If this is something I can do without, I am going to do without it. Once you have the money management under control, a lot of other things will fall into place as well. All right, so this brings us to the end of our Motivation 101 for August 2023. And if you've not seen our other motivational videos, check some out, because we talk about like a whole lot of stuff, and we've been doing this for a little over a year. So thank you so much for watching. We appreciate your time. Do give us a like, comment, and share this video with someone who may need it. What do we say, son?
It wasn't recording the entire time.
What? It was not recording? Oh no.
Mommy.
Wait, we gotta do it again. Can we do it again?
Okay.
Oh, just kidding. It was recording.
Thank you for watching this video. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe.